What's up, guys? Welcome to another video. And today's video, I'm going to be reading a post here. I haven't shared a post in quite a while, and found myself checking out the subreddit, and this one really caught my attention. It's called How to Make Yourself Believe When You Really Don't, and Everything is the Opposite of What You Want. Probably something we can all relate to. So a few years ago, I remember lying in my bed with my stomach in knots. I had bills I couldn't pay. My skin was breaking out so bad I didn't want to look in the mirror, and I felt invisible in every area of my life. People online were telling me, you just believe it's already done. That felt like the biggest joke. Nothing in my world looked like it was working. Here's what I didn't understand back then. Belief doesn't come first. Decision does. Neville said assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact. That's not about waiting to feel it. That's about choosing it and persisting until it feels natural. I used to think belief meant I had to wake up in full confidence. Wrong. Belief started for me when I chose a story and refused to let it go. When the doubts screamed, I didn't fight them. I went back to my anchor. I am respected. I am chosen. I am safe. It felt fake at first. Sometimes I'd cry while saying it, but I still said it. When I went after a job that felt completely out of reach, I didn't believe I was qualified. Even my own mom said, you probably won't get it. My chest dropped. But I had to decide, I am the director. I pictured myself picking up the phone and hearing the words, we'd like to offer you the position. Days went by with nothing. I felt sick with doubt. Then the call came, and I got it. That's when it clicked. My old self-concept was running the show until I persisted in the new one. The 3D was just a mirror of who I assumed I was. Neville often reminded us of scripture, and God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And if everything God made is good, then what does that mean about you? It means you're not broken. You're not unworthy. You're already good. The only thing left is to decide to see yourself that way and persist in it until your life has no choice but to reflect it. So if you're in the middle of the opposite right now, stop asking, do I believe? That's the wrong question. Ask instead, who am I deciding to be? Then pick it up again and again, no matter how many times you fall. That's how belief is built. What to do when you don't believe it yet? 1, choose your story. Don't wait for proof. Decide now, who are you? Loved, safe, abundant, respected? Pick it. 2, pick an anchor affirmation. 1 simple phrase you can return to when you spiral. Mine was, I'm respected, I'm chosen, I'm safe. 3, visualize the end. Not 10 different steps, just the outcome, the phone call, the ring, the healthy skin, the relief. That's an important part, the relief. Feel it for a few seconds. Persist through the opposite. The 3D will mock you. Just keep deciding anyway. Return when you drift. You will spiral. That doesn't mean you failed. Just come back to the story and pick it up again. That's it. Simple. Not easy, but simple. Do this, and one day the thing that feels fake right now will feel natural. The world will have no choice but to reflect it back to you. Because if God saw everything he made and called it good, then so are you. Start there. So a lot of people in the comments are applauding this person's write-up here. You nailed this, well written, well said, better than most posts here. Yeah, and it really rings true for me, because these affirmations that we talk about when we talk about using affirmation, when we talk about self-talk, is just a way to really just remind yourself of that fact that you are an extension of this cosmic energy. We all are. And so there is nothing that is too good for you. There is nothing that is, reserved for somebody else, but not for you. If you see anything in your reality, that is evidence that it is possible. That is evidence that it is possible for you as well. But we get into these negative thought loops, and we get into this state where we're constantly reacting to the 3D. And it's very easy for us to get into that cycle and to forget this truth, to forget that it is up to us, really in every moment, to make a choice. And what they've said here is so accurate. You make a decision. That is the first aspect of this. When I think about any of my successful manifestations, and the word the phrase law of assumption. There is this inner assumption that this thing is true. That is when it really begins to flower. That is really when it begins to take hold, take root in the subconscious, and then be reflected. When you go up to somebody and you expect a negative reaction, when you expect, there's this hesitation, it manifests through your body language. It manifests through subtle, your energy. And your energy is at the foundation of everything. And so people can feel this. The world can feel this. Reality can feel this. And when you take on that new assumption and you've made that decision, that's when you activate your power. That's when you activate your God state, is by making that decision. And sometimes we have to make the decisions again and again and again. That's what these affirmations help with. So if you really want to develop this as a practice, and they mention for them, I'm respected, I'm chosen, I'm safe. Going back to your mantra, going back to your statements to affirm that new story. Eric from The Power of I Am, he uses, I'm chosen, I am love, I'm chosen, I'm always favored, I am everyone's top priority. You can pick these statements. Another Naval or Kamal Ravikant, his main statement was, I love myself. And he recited that over and over and over again. And I have a whole video about how his life changed completely, just basically from him making that new assumption, because he's overriding those by using this thought in this way. You're overriding the old story. There's some people that disagree, that say, you don't need to use affirmations and you can just live from the state, live from the end. I'm not saying that they're wrong by saying that, but I am saying there's levels to this. And if you are this reach this end state, or not end state, but you're a pro, right? Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, RIP, or Novak Djokovic, any of these guys, it's like they can throw out the rule books with the techniques and stuff because they've achieved such a level of mastery that they don't need to necessarily it's almost like once you've mastered it, you can throw out the rule book, right? You can break the rules once you've mastered something. So maybe they don't need to use these affirmations because they have such an embodied state where they're in full assumption. Their state, it's emanating from the core of their being, that maybe they don't need to use affirmations. I would say that for the vast majority of us, they're helpful reminders, extremely helpful tools to get our narrative back on the right track. Even for myself, I can relate to this because I've had my ups and downs, of course, over the course of my life, but even recently, and getting back into a state where I am reciting that new assumption, that new identity of who I'm choosing to be, so that I override the external stimulus or the external reflection that is presenting me something else, is incredibly powerful. And that's why a lot of these people, like I said, Eric, he mentions he does this every single morning in the mirror. And people do these rampages, Sammy Ingram, all these people that are on YouTube, there's a reason why they do this stuff, because it works. And I have my entire book is about this. If you're interested in really, really developing this, and so that you no longer have any questions, any doubt in your ability to do this and to rewrite the narrative of your story, to really take the pen and begin to write the script and not only be the starring role, but also be the director in your own film, then download the link. The link is below. You can download. I have a free ebook, but there's also the link to the ebook called The Robotic Affirmation Code. It shows you everything about how this works, why this works, the neuroscience, the psychology, the practical application, right? It gives you there's tons of affirmations in there that you can use, you can steal and use for yourself, that have worked for me, that have worked for my clients, that have worked for tons of people in the past. And with that being said, guys, this is just a reminder that you can really take back the steering wheel, even when it feels like you're in the passenger seat and the car is going off the road. You really have that ability to take things back into your own hands. And that's why I wanted to share this post with you guys. I hope this was helpful. I hope that this has been, motivating for you to begin to take this up again. Look at yourself in the mirror every single morning. Recite who it is that you choose to be, this new identity that you've crafted, that you've created for yourself, and begin to select and choose that reality that you want, rather than allowing some outside external factors, people, situations, circumstances, whatever it may be, to tell you what you're going to take. You take back the power and declare that this is what you are choosing for yourself. That being said, guys, much love as always, and I will see you guys in the next video.